I recognize Congresswoman Luna for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Beach re-nourishment plays an important role in coastal communities. My colleagues in North Carolina's bill highlights the complex nature of these projects and how important they are for communities and critical wildlife. One example in my district is the Sand Key Beach Re-nourishment Project that is up for re-nourishment next year in Pinellas County, Florida. The erosion of beaches like Sand Key can be devastating because it leaves infrastructure prone to flood damages, which negatively impacts the local economy, and it also demolishes many habitats that endangered species and threatened wildlife require. As my colleague from North Carolina knows from the projects in his district, like Wrightsville Beach Re-nourishment Project, the Army Corps of Engineers plays an integral role in a lot of these projects. Unfortunately for my district, the Sand Key Beach project is being stonewalled by the Army Corps of Engineers, and just last week, the Army Corps in DC denied a waiver from their local Army Corps office, who actually performs the project, to move forward with the project using temporary easements as they've been using for the past 3 decades. In other words, the Army Corps is holding our beach re-nourishment hostage in exchange for full relinquishment of property rights from every single homeowner along the Sand Key Beach Re-nourishment project. It is clear that they are not interested in protecting Pinellas County from storm damage, nor protecting the habitats of threatened and endangered species. Instead, these bureaucrats are more interested in strong-arming private citizens over their property rights and playing politics with projects like Sand Key that are integral for the safety and success of people in Florida, as well as other coastal communities. My question is for you, Mr. Strickler. The erosion of shorelines affects natural resources, energy, defense, public infrastructure, and tourism. How has the Department of Interior worked to address the erosion along our nation's coastlines, beaches, barrier islands, and wetlands?
Representative Luna, thank you for the question. And while I'm not familiar with the case that you raised in Pinellas County, I can say that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has a very active role in coastal resources management. The Coastal Barrier Resources Act is a really good example of that, by keeping natural, intact coastal barriers there to help protect communities that are adjacent to or behind them. We save a lot of taxpayer money, and we are able to prevent additional development in harm's way. We also have a coastal program that helps restore coastal habitats like mangroves, salt marsh, dune systems, et cetera. Certainly there's plenty of work to be done there. NOAA also has a role to play, but we use the resources that Congress gives us to make progress on that front as well.
How long on average does it take the Department of Interior to provide all necessary permits, for example, like Sand Key, where sand placement is critical for restoration of endangered habitats?
Again, I'm not 100% familiar with that.
But just like in general for the permitting process.
I hate to be flippant, but it depends on which permits, right? So we have Migratory Bird Treaty Act permitting, we have Endangered Species Act permitting, we have Marine Mammal Protection Act permitting, and so we obviously try to do these as quickly as we can, including through the electronic permitting process that we talked about. Can
you address the one for endangered species, because that would be one that is more specific to my region?
Yeah, so I'll have to get back to you specifically on a number. It's not days, right? It usually takes several months to get these things turned around. But depending on the circumstance, right? If you have, are using some of our flexible tools like habitat conservation plans, et cetera, under the Endangered Species Act, some of those permits are quicker, and so we try to figure out ways to do that efficiently.
Okay. Honorable Derry Mills, Army Corps has demonstrated a pattern of reinterpreting the law for erosion control projects across the country. So from 1998 until 2021, the Corps interpretation of the Coastal Barrier Restoration Act allowed federal money to be used to move sand from an inlet to the inlet beach. Until 2021, their interpretation basically had changed. This is similar to how the Corps interpretation changed for Sand Key project. How has this bureaucratic policy change obstructed these erosion control beach projects?
Thank you. How's it affected? We can't get any sand. And you can see from the photos that Congressman Rouser supplied, we have severe erosion that is greatly and immediately endangering infrastructure, property, and ultimately life. It's an important barrier for the whole, and with all due respect to Mr. Stickler, the protection that the barrier islands give us can't exist without some help.
I agree.
And this reinterpretation is killing that for Wrightsville Beach. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, thank you, and I completely agree. The Sand Key project, which is facing similar issues to the issues in Wrightsville Beach, relies on the Army Corps to provide constant maintenance to protect residents, species, property, tourism, and the local common economy from natural disasters. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for you guys being here and testifying to that. I'm over my time, Chairman. I yield my time.
Thank you.